And we are adjusting. Adjusting this because we are in fact going live with Dragon Age Inquisition. And finally, I got that right. So remember, I should have started the whole thing with minutes to spare instead of waiting till the last second to start the program and deal with this. And I have, I'm a complete noob. I haven't been doing this for nearly a year now. Yeah, but well, not really because of Maria. I haven't done it for a year, but counting those 2 months that I wasn't doing it, I'm coming to my 1 year anniversary as a caster, as a streamer. I think it was September. Next month. Yep. Yup. And we opened the slush gates, simply the gates, and the dam, and we're now in Old Crestwood, Old Drowned Crestwood. Also spared you one major loading screen, so there's that. Let me adjust the volume just a little bit, at least for me, because it's a bit too much. There we are. So I spared you at least one massive loading screen, or long, I should say, not big. This is the old mayor's home. What? Mayor's house.
There's a plaque. This was the mayor's old home.
I doubt he'll want it back. Should we?
The ink of this damn piece of paper is faded but legible. The work you order is done. Do you what you want? I'll be in the hills trying to forget it, Robert.
A letter from Crestwood's mayor. Damp but legible.
Strengthen the veil.
A bottle marked vintage Warden Gibbons. Don't freaking touch. I spit in this. I mean it. Okay. Probably tastes like dirt.
You there! I order you to tell me why nothing here heeds my commands.
Lost the spirit.
Go then.
Oh. Did I kill her? Oh. Oh, there she is.
Yes.
Spirits are your expertise.
Tell me why nothing here changes.
This realm follows different rules from the Fades. Will alone cannot overcome what you see.
Then what's the point of it?
A solid form is both shackle and strength. It affects more than you imagine.
It sounds like the voice of Tally.
Are you a spirit or a demon?
Those dogs who would suck this world dry. I am called to higher things.
What's so distressing about the real world?
It ignores me. I order the rocks to part, but they do not. I bid the sky draw close, and it stays still. I don't know how you mortals stand it.
Why haven't you gone back to the Fae?
I will not be denied. I refuse to leave until something obeys my orders.
And I feel compelled to help you. I pledge myself to your service.
Excellent. I have only one command. A creature made of rage had the gall to chase me across the lake. Destroy it in my name and be rewarded.
A simple enough request. The rage demon might threaten others as well.
Killing a demon is worthy of us, at least.
Cal Hill is the other place of the dwarves. I want to go there. I want to see what's up with that. Gotta find all the homes and all the things. All the dead people. So I hope, Chad, you're having a good time today. I decided to start early because I have things to do. Also because, again, I will not be casting on Wednesday. So that's the thing. Go in here? Did I? Let me see. I think I did, but I'm not sure. Yeah. Ring of flanking. The doggies of Heralden. Yes, things like we're dogging here.
Where does this lead?
Literally, because it's wet and raining, and there's never mind. It just does. Deep Stalker, one of the new. Deep Stalker sounds like a 1980s horror action film, like Deep Stalker. Stalker of the Deep.
Come on, let's find that Fate Rift.
A path? Did the villagers use this place for anything?
about to find out. It's interesting that the spirits that attack you, the translucent spirits, are green, and the friendly ones, or at least the neutral ones, are red. Stormheart. I get why here it might be wet, because you know it was flooded, but like everything else, like indoors and stuff like that, it's just like, yeah, we didn't change the fix the thing so that it would be adjusted to location. It's just a wet place, and therefore everything is wet. Yeah, these lights are not really for lighting purposes. They're more for, oh, you've been here before, and that's very subtle design choices, right? Nice. Put torches and stuff like that so that it. Oh, no bearded X. I already have that, I think, but still. So that people know where the player knows where they've been. That's very clever. And also exploits the fact that players, especially in RPGs, are kind of conditioned to interact with any object that they have in their path. Double the spell right there. Guess you guys didn't need me. Deal with that. Stormheart.
Bodies? Were people living down here when Old Crestwood flooded?
Poor bastards, I'm going to have nightmares just thinking about it.
Dwarven ruins down here.
The dwarves built well. Their runes still sing.
And there's the rage demon. I'll check that out now. Let me kill it first, and before we do this, let's have our smaller, shorter friend, I should say. It glows in the dark. Nice. Eric, you want to be short, but you're still in the Those output plaque. This roadway was created by Royal Order of King Kelgak. Sounds like something like Gary Gygax would name. To link the Great Tig of Audukan to the soaring Tig of Gundar. It pleases these cities to join these roads with a hole in the middle and to dedicate this hole to Paragon Hecate, who discovered the principles of nature that lets build the structures of a herd of height and standing breadth. Let this renown be eternal as a stone in shape. Description of the black fountain by them to have a road beneath the Crestwood. Well. Look out, powder ring. Cassie, bash. To find the two missing. Hey, how you doing, King Gobbler? It depends. I think that they're just distinct. And welcome to the channel, King Gobbler. I like this type of combat in Inquisition because it's more flashy. I can control my character better, right? But also you have to understand that the AI is much better.
By the rift, demons!
Well, at least I consider them to be better, so it works that way. I certainly think that if you're looking for a challenge, then certainly the more tactical combat of Dragon Age Origins works. They're just different. I don't think one is better than the other. Right? It all depends on how they're implemented.
We're ready.
So it depends. I mean, this combat I think works best for Inquisition, certainly. As for Dragon Age 2, let's say that it wasn't very well, like many things in that game, it wasn't very well implemented. They were going for something like this. I started early, decided that I had an hour or two to burn, so also oh yeah, you're getting this. You're getting an upgrade.
The dead will finally rest easy in Crestwood.
Ah, damn it,
Let's
this chair. I
tell
need
the
a new
man.
chair. I need a new chair, a new screen, a new green screen. I need a lot of new things. Well, I don't have a green screen, so that would be the green screen as opposed to just a new one. I do miss some of the spells or the way they did spells back in Origins. Like, I like the fireball in Origins. Like, the fireball not only did a lot of damage and had good range, but also it actually would topple people down, people, you know, over the place. But that's probably the way I would say it's better. But then Origins, I think, is pretty much the better game overall. But I don't think it's a fair comparison to compare the combat of one with the other, because they're just that different. They're just very distinct.
I believe I sense one of the artifacts of my people. Good. That should help strengthen the veil.
Let's give you that. Varric, Cassandra. So there, I think that's my best answer to it. Not a very there's something out there. Not a very definite answer, I know, but still, I think it's the best best answer I can give all around.
I don't want to backtrack, but do you know where we're going?
I feel a draft. There must be a way out nearby.
I know, Barrack. I know you hate the deep roads and all things dwarven. But I gotta explore, man. I gotta find all the treasures, all the thingies. Always clear the dungeon, my friend. Always clear the dungeon. The other stuff is just gray. It's just vendor trash. One thing I don't like of any of the games is how much vendor trash you have to haul off or destroy or whatever. I mean, I guess it's there just so you just sell, but sometimes it actually is better than even the blues that you have. It's like, could we not do that? Right now, I'll have a policy. I'm gonna sell all my grays, regardless of what they are. It's like, doesn't matter. They're gray. They're sold. I'm gonna sell them. Okay, here we go. Okay, is any other exits or anything like that?
The nugs seem to like it down here.
You know, Liliana used to keep one as a pet.
You're joking.
I am not. What was its name again? Schmepples? Schmooples? It is right on the tip of my tongue.
Schmooples. You just said it, Schmooples. Although with her accent, it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, that's another callback to Origins. Certainly, this game has certainly a lot of callbacks. I'll give it that much. Not even animation to get out of the stairs. Like, oh, no, we're just gonna teleport upstairs. You can generate up to 3 levels of focus. Each level makes the abilities you use it more powerful. I haven't finished yet, by the way. This is just the basic quest to bring some daylight into this place. Well, I already did the castle, so there's that. I have a base of operations. Base of operations. That's a lot of garbage I gotta sell. More shrooms. More nugs. If you, for some reason, attack the nugs in that you encountered, it was like, oh yeah, the nugs. Everybody dislikes that. I done it by mistake, and it's like, it was like, dude, you're a cold-hearted bastard. I'm sorry, but I know I'm gonna murder this one. So let's go back to the mayor. Let's talk to the mayor for a second. Let's see what really happened in Crestwood, Old Crestwood, which is now just Crestwood. Okay, let me first of all sell all this crap. It's daylight. Nice. See, this is the only place in
We won't forget the Inquisition help from no one else would, I promise.
No, I think it's just better overall. The game is just better written and has a tighter focus. For example, this game, I like Dragon Age Inquisition, that's why I'm playing it. But because they sort of doubled down on the idea of being open world, which is something that hub-based open world, they kind of overdid it, right?
From the mayor. It says he
And
was the one who flooded Old Crestwood
also
10
there's
years
another
ago.
part of it, which is
Stop the blight from spreading.
I knew he was nervous about more than the undead.
It's monstrous, but if it stopped the blight from wiping out the entire...
sorry, got cut off. Wherein I think the problem really with the entire series is Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2 was a huge letdown. And this game carries that burden as well, so brings it down. That's
already
on
found
raw
the riots
quality.
that people
On
died
the
in.
combat side, yeah, very much. Oh.
I didn't imagine you'd look yourself. Thank you for your thoughtfulness.
It's very much in that vein of Baldur's Gate, and very much also in the fact that I replayed Baldur's Gate. It's like this game is harder than it first appeared to be. I mean, it's like, wow, this game is hard. I was like, damn. In fact, I was gonna do a let's play. One of my first let's plays was going to be. I tried to do let's play for YouTube, and I just couldn't do it because I just kept dying and dying and dying. Of course, I forgot that one of the best spells in the game is sleep, and it makes the game very easy in the early levels. But yeah, there you go. That's me being stupid, I guess. Yeah, and also I think it carries a pedigree from earlier games as well. But the story of this game is very much burdened by Dragon Age 2, right? And I think that's the one thing I really, narrative speaking, story-wise, that's the one thing I do not like from Inquisition. The fact that, and I think the same thing with Andromeda, right? It tries to sort of apologize and at the same time justify the missteps that BioWare made in the past. Instead of just moving on. I think this game would have been much better. Just oh, this is a landmark. Okay, let me just mark the landmark. Jeez. and I'll get it. I don't want to do too many spoilers because there's still stuff to happen. So in this part of the world and others. So I don't. If anybody's watching this or whatever, I don't want to spoil it for them.
So the undead are gone. About time someone put things back to normal.
And took your shit. Like, yeah, I'm just passing through and stealing your stuff. Hey. So yeah, I'm gonna go into a deeper analysis. Although, if you really want to know my opinion on Dragon Age 2, my very thorough opinion on Dragon Age 2, you can go to the Lessons Learned YouTube channel, and the earliest videos I made, like the first video series I made, poor audio and all, and you can check him out. Well, I wish, well, I would say that you're right when it comes to Mass Effect 3. Not so much with Dragon Age 2. I mean, it appears to be a big thing, but in the larger context, not really. There are many things that are wrong with that game, and the fact that this game sort of perpetuates some of them. It does take to some of the best parts as well. I mean, right here, and Cassandra and Varric. The game is not without some redeeming qualities, but not as many as people think. Oh, that's a lot of iron. I can't pick this up. Ugh. Oh, I didn't crush my own legs. It isn't really as big. It's a more of a background situation, right? It's it serves as sort of justification for why the Inquisition has to happen. So it's more of an inciting incident rather than, well, actually, the inciting incident is the breach, right? But it's more like, why aren't these other groups, the Chantry, the Grey Wardens, the Templars, etc., dealing with the problem rather than the raison d'être, so to speak, for the whole situation, right? You could have this game without that, because the villain, which comes from a DLC from Dragon Age 2, his motivations and actions are completely independent of the Mage Rebellion and the Mage Templar War. It basically is in the background, yeah. It's like, oh, it's this stuff that's happening, right? But I think in Skyrim, they sort of tied it a little bit better, because it's sort of like the great prophecy things, like, oh, at the time of Civil War. But again, it's not really important. I mean, you can play Skyrim and never deal with the Civil War. In fact, I would say that dealing with the Civil War, it's probably at least the way I play it, the worst possible idea. Because it cuts you off from certain things. The only reason why you will resolve the Civil War, at least in my mind, I done it in Skyrim, is to get a particular property. Wow. And that's about it, right? You're better off leaving things as they are. in terms of the sandbox. Anyway. But it's, yeah, kind of similar. It's there. But it's not really that important. And there she is. The dragon. But we won't fight her yet. I don't have the right team for it anyway.
What is it with people who just wait for some sign of trouble to turn to banditry? You think they sit around sharpening axes and waiting for disasters? That's some hobby.
Thank you, Barrick, for commenting on the obvious. All Wither's farm. All Wither had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. I'm gonna read this one because this is a classic. Plants vs. Corpses. In all the strange struggles that have raged across Ferelden, one of the most peculiar is the Battle of Pauper's Cap. A powerful demon, bent on gaining power in the mortal world, raised an army of corpses to assault the home of Helinatus, a reclusive apostate who was said to possess both fabulous wealth and great knowledge. While the demon saw the perfect host in the bejeweled bookworm, Helinatus was not without defenses of her own. As the corpses shuffled toward her house, Helinatus called to the demon, declaring that though she was just a simple apostate, the demon would see her power and entire infantry. Then, calling upon her magic, she summoned spirits into the plants in her vegetable patch, creating countless tiny sylvians. Resulting garden warfare saw corpses armored with buckets and doors as makeshift helmets and shields battling possessed fruits and vegetables who spat seeds, constructed makeshift fortifications, and even chumped entire corpses whole. In the end, the area around Helinatus' home became both garden and graveyard, home to the corpses destroyed as she defended herself and this world from the demon. Had she been defeated and her great brain turned to demon's purpose, we might as well have been such terrible corpses ranging from the great pyramids of Parvolan to the pirate-infested waters of Lomarine, or even into unknown western lands. Is this my lunch? We were dining on bacon today. I was informed that there will be bacon. No, I shall not take that part off my head. Why? Because I'm mad? And sourced and debatable tale from Davith the Mad, zealously chaired at the state in Walnut Hills where he spent his later years. Let me close the rift first and show you what this means. What all that means. Is that not a demon run? Oh, there's a... Oh, there it is. It changes some of the framing, I would say, yeah. I mean, you can say that it, I mean, again, but I think the real reason why it was used was to say, hey, why are we using the Inquisition rather than the Grey Wardens, you know, the mages, you know, the regular forces. Now, remember what I was talking about, that long read? Look at this. Plants, zombies, lanes, plants, zombies, lanes. Yes, this is an Easter egg about Plants vs. Zombies. Just so you know. That was a joke. And money, because of course there's money thrown around here. Why wouldn't there be? Oh, bandits. keep on killing into the future. Oh, there it is. Yeah. If you read the note but you don't see it, it kind of it's because you see just some plants and it's like, okay, there's some plants there, right? But when you look at how they're arranged, it's like, oh. Let's find the butcher. And that's another weakness.
This would make a good place to camp.
I think a weakness of Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2, I think, was described once by a reviewer, and I think it was Yahtzee from the Escapist, as a holding pattern. The kind of game that you make when you don't know what game you're gonna make. In other words, I always feel like Inquisition was the kind of game that BioWare wanted to make, but EA just wanted to just shove something out the door, and it was like, okay, in 18 months, because it took about 18 months to make. I mean, I think Dragon Age 2 has a lot of possibilities. I would, if I had the budget at the time, of course. Okay, bloody papers and
Reinforcements!
These assholes.
To think they swore themselves to the Maker's service.
Obsidian. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the things about Dragon Age 2, many criticism. Like I said, I invite everybody to go to my channel. Don't worry, I don't get money from it because it got demonetized. Never did actually get any money from it anyway. Just now it's more of an archive than anything else. But check it out. I do apologize for one of the early videos that I was doing, and although my videos have never been of extremely high quality, due to budget and time constraints, but I do break down what I like, not what I like about the game, but what I think about the game. In very specific, and also another series that does something very similar to what I've done, which is why are you always going after Barrett, you big cow? It's sci-fi debris, or SF debris. Take on Dragon Age. Did that wolf try to tackle me? Like it came flying at me. It's like, dude, what the hell? Dead. Oh yeah. Now this is, like I said there in the earlier cast, the naturalist. Let me check on that. This is a very interesting quest right here. I'm just doing quests. I could go somewhere. I should go to the desert because I need Venatori tomes. And there are no Venatori here. Venatori. I think we have time.
So you're the man who saved Crestwood from the dead. Watch out for the wyvern in the hills. I'd take his hide if I were better with a bow.
Do you farm out here?
The name's Judith. I farm and I mend things for the village and people passing through. I did a fair trade with traveling merchants before the undead started attacking. Not to mention that dragon.
Seriously, why does anyone live out here?
Oh, you know, the fishing's grand.
There's a wyvern causing trouble.
It used to hunt in the mountains. Didn't bother anyone but the bandits. Lately, the beast got it in his head to come down here. It almost crippled Gauld's little boy. Best someone kill it. I hope I get my hands on the liver. It makes a poison that kills rats like nothing.
What do you know about the dragon?
She moved in a month ago. The guards tried to run her off, but she snapped one's head off and she flew away. Poor Hamold. At least it was quick. Since then, she's eaten 3 horses, 5 goats, and 2 cats.
Kitties,
If
no.
you're Judith, there's a man in the village concerned about you.
That must be Gould, fretful as ever. I'm glad he stayed in Crestwood. He's fast as you please with a loom, but terrible with a sword.
Until later.
Be safe.
He's your boyfriend. Come on. You know, let's be clear, lady. Whenever you get the itch, you go down to Crestwood, and well, he's a lonely man with a boy. It's like, well, you know, but you're not interested in marrying him because you don't want the responsibility of being a foster mom. I know how it is. I get it. I get it. Right now, I think, well, I need a second monitor. That's the thing. I also need a bigger desk because I'm using my desk is too small, so that I have to get the desk before I get to the thing. Face cam is not obligatory. I'm used to using face cam, but I would not say you have to have it. Sometimes I regret using it, but there you go. I do want, and I'll probably buy it at the end. First of all, I also have to upgrade my PC. But what I really need to do is take a rest on the encampment and get a shall we say what am I, four, at least a 4 or 8 channel mixer. That's what I'm thinking that I need right now. So I can do audio out here without having to do it through someone joined up. Let's see who it is. UN Normal TV is now following. Welcome to the channel. We have someone else also as well. Let's see who it is. Welcome to the channel, bro. Reanimator is now following. Thank you very much. And we have someone else. Let's see who it is. Well, yeah, okay. Twitch TV Duda. Oh, wait a minute. Everybody seems to be joining at once. Let me see who else. Takes a bit. EC Soy Coco is now following. Thank you all for the follows. Am I getting rated and I don't know about it? Come on. Say who else? Tiny Pink Shrimp. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see who it is. Who else? Of course, Soldier Gaming. Yeah, I know you. Hey, welcome. And Dark Cooley. Welcome to the channel. Anybody else? Oh, no, you did not. Pretty Pete Queen, welcome to the channel. Everybody seems joining here right now. Wells. Santa Claus 0110, welcome to the channel. Jeez. You're all welcome. Dragon Linux, welcome to the channel. Yep. I want to take a moment, thank everybody who's joining. Welcome to the channel. I'm on my road to affiliate. I just need the views. I've done everything else, and I'll keep on streaming. And if you're really interested in what I'm doing right now, Thursday you can visit RP Glory's channel. I'll be doing playing a role-playing game session. We're doing a sci-fi game. It hasn't an official title yet, but I am the captain of the ship of the Gamble, Tarquin's Gamble, and it promises to be a lot of fun. And of course, I'll also be starting Monster Hunter PC, fingers crossed, on Thursday. So thank you all for joining, and as always, you're welcome in the channel. Just be mindful of the rules, and you'll be fine. Now back to killing monsters here on Dragon Age. And getting lost in caverns that are poorly lit. Okay, never mind. I think there must have been a raid from somebody. Which I appreciate, I really do. I was getting a little worried that I was losing followers. What the heck was that? Oh, that was a Nog. Spiders. Again, it's a choice. It's also, and let's be real about this, it's also about resources, right? If you're somebody who can invest upfront on the art, I think most of, and I know this is something that my channel suffers from, I think the presentation, especially opening and closings, the standby screens, the art for the channel, I think that in many ways is more important in not establishing the channel but selling it. The sleeker the look, I think the better. Although everybody has his own brand, of course. Mine is a bare bones brand because I believe in paying artists. I really do. I believe that you should pay them. I believe you should support them. Whatever you cannot do yourself, whether it's music, whether it's art in any way, shape, or form, you should support it 100%. If someone donates art, thank them profusely. Make sure you link to them and you mention them, like the art I have, the very little art that I have on my channel. Either free, or it's art that has been donated. I think I have a link to it as well. And some other stuff, like the YouTube stuff I just made with MS Paint, so you know, pretty basic stuff. So I think is far more important in the long run, right? People expect certain look, certain feel to the channel. Each channel has to be individual. I've been messing around with the stuff that free stuff that OBS has been gives out. I'm stuck in the same place here. Okay, let me go. Okay, let me go to the journal. Okay, so where? Oh, it's all over. I thought it was over here. No, never mind. I was in the wrong place. And I think that's as important, if not more important, than say face cams and the technology and all that. At least all the channels that I've been have put some effort into that. And there's an entire community out there of Twitch and YouTube artists, and they deserve your support. It's kind of hard sometimes to. I know, for example, that Era Vulgaris does streaming art, right? I'm looking right now. I'm learning GIMP because I'm bad at Photoshop, and because I want to do some transparencies. Because I'm looking. Yeah, well, mine is a combination of, I use NAS for the timers, and you can use NAS for all kinds of timers and messages. I haven't really mastered. I haven't really mastered NAS yet.
This will not be easy.
But it's pretty easy to use. I switched to Streamlabs OBS, which is also free, and it has some generic intro screens and that sort of thing. Let me see what. Oh, there you are. Okay. I'm thinking of how to use those effectively. Yeah, the once you sort of figured out the ways of SNAS and other similar little programs. And SNAS, by the way, SNAZ or SED for the Canadians and or English and British.
Solus, the dragon Corypheus commands, could it truly be an archdemon?
One assumes that if it were, we would be facing a blight.
So what is it then? A corrupted dragon? Simply another darkspawn?
It is connected to Corypheus. Such a relation goes beyond mere control. It is a bond.
It makes you wonder if that's all the archdemons themselves are. Pets to beings who no longer exist.
I would not go as far as that. This dragon is a replica, spawned from a creature who aspires to greatness. No more.
That's an interesting take. Solus. So are you saying that the ancient dragons are real gods? But SNAS is free. There's a lot of free resources out there, but like any free resources, the trick is mastering them, right? Even though I think some of the best resources, like the surface level stuff, is easy to do. It's the extra tricks that are or take time to really master and use, which is fine. You know, if you're really you're willing to put the time and effort, and you have the time and effort. But let's be honest, the successful YouTube channels and stuff like that, they might be. That is also very true, King Cobbler. Let's be honest. The successful channels, not so much in Twitch, but certainly in YouTube, and I think Twitch is certainly heading in that direction as well. Whether people like it or not, they're team efforts. You have your editors, you have your sound people.
There must be something
Like
here.
a great example of that is JP from IdMe JP. He has a handful of people, artists, musicians, that sort of thing, that elevate the his production, right? He's still very much him at the center of it all. But one of the things about it, JP being so successful is that he's a good businessman. You can say whatever you want about him, but he's a very good, solid businessman. He knows what he's doing, and he knows that he's all about the contracts. This is gonna be a tough little fight, and hiring the right people. And I think Critical Role, of course, is the premier example of this, right? And I think that's something that's happening on streaming, certainly happening on YouTube. I would call it the televisation or the Hollywoodization of streaming and online media, simply because, while they're not technically TV, a lot of techniques from television are certainly beneficial when it comes to television. Rooster Teeth. If you look at a lot of people who are hired in Rooster Teeth, they are people from television. Even the people that are like, that guy's just the guy. Well, take, for example, Gavin Free. Gavin Free is someone who not only has his own channel, a very successful channel, but also someone who had and gained experience in such acclaimed shows as what's the show in Britain, which is used to be the car show, and movies and stuff like that. So he, even at a very young age, before he joined our team, Rooster Teeth, had a lot of experience. Gossarola, he was an IT manager, right? Stuff like that. So it's very easy to say, oh, anybody can do it, and yeah, anybody can still do it, especially on Twitch. But do not discount the properly employed television techniques. You cannot approach this as television, but you can approach it as something that can certainly be improved by television techniques, right? In many ways, I think that I would say that streaming right now, it's very similar to the era of live TV, when TV was still there. And people don't know this, but a lot of, especially network TV in a lot of nations around the world, yeah, the skill ceiling is very high. That's very true. But a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the infrastructure and techniques from television, modern television, come directly. Okay, giant turds. Anyway, comes from radio. why is it that ABC, NBC, and CBS are still in the United States, with Fox being and other channels as of late? Really, they only join in, became the big four and a half, but they were the big three from the 1950s all the way to the 1980s. Well, the reason was that ABC, NBC, and CBS were the biggest radio broadcasters. Okay, I want to do everything else before I talk to Varric, his friend. Okay, let's go to the wormhole. Okay. Even the shows like soap operas, TV dramas.
This may be worthwhile.
A lot of that, especially the infrastructure, and why also the FCC is the one that controls all of that as well, comes from the days on radio. Now, of course, there's substantial differences between radio and television. I think you will be laughed out of most rooms or every room if you were to say, oh, I'll talk about TV today as being like, radio with pictures, right? The techniques, the ability, the things you do, how you do television is been focused on the particular medium, and you have to understand the strength and weaknesses. I do not expect. Hey Hector, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. You missed a lot of people subbing. I mean, a lot of people just not subbing but following. Like 5 or 6, 7 people back to back, which I loved. I absolutely loved. But we're talking about Twitch and all that, and like I said, I was saying, a lot of people will laugh you out of the room if you were to say that that television is radio with pictures, especially when it comes to the art of television. It's a hybrid, and it takes a lot more from movies than anything else. And that's why it's also been called, and still it's called in many ways, the small screen as opposed to the big screen. But even that comparison is, as an art form, is relatively, it's very unfair to both television and movies. And I think the same thing with Twitch is going to be the same thing with YouTube. But there's always the dangers as well that, and we're seeing this as well, that it's getting tamed. Right, the sort of Wild West of the internet is coming at an end. Because how do you make money? Well, you make money. Well, there's subscriptions, of course, which is something that television actually pioneered with things like HBO, which are subscription services. But here's a individual subscription as opposed to a group subscription. I think that's the main difference. And there's some other techniques as well. So nothing is really new under the sun. Most stuff is a variation of something that has already been here. I'm hoping, I'll be honest, I know that King Cobbler is also a fellow streamer, and you should check his channel out if you're interested. Chat.
I hope you can make good use of it.
I think you're more than welcome to do so. I do sound like an expert because I learned a long time ago that if you're going to talk about something, better talk about it with some kind of confidence. Well, it could be confidence born out of arrogance, but talk with it with a sense of confidence. Don't let me, I'm bad.
Well met.
Practice makes perfect, King Cobbler.
I found Butcher's corpse by the
and
south road.
I'm not an expert.
Red Templars ambushed me afterwards.
And I will freely admit that my goal is to become an affiliate and actually,
We have a traitor.
What's happening in Crestwood?
The dragon circling the lake looks hungrier than usual. Travelers on the road will be scarce until it's gone.
Okay.
I should be going.
Farewell.
Okay, how do I tackle that dragon? I'm thinking... and who do I... She's... Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Solus, because he has... Oh yeah, this is much better than this broadsword. No, you don't. You're not armor. So 143. I think I'm gonna make a new armor. I don't consider myself an expert, but at the same time, I would definitely like to become one. I don't want to have a huge production or anything like that, although I would love to be participating in. If I were honest, as a sort of fan of other people's work,
I cannot place your fighting style, and I have studied the martial arts for years.
It's from everywhere. I traveled a lot in my youth.
Liar. Yeah. And I want to become an affiliate, and I also want to become a full. I hope those are potatoes, because otherwise it looks disgusting. Let's see if I can make a better armor than what we have right now for these guys. Nope. Oh. Can I make it 167? So yeah, that's a thing. Other things, for example, I don't have a brand yet, I suppose. My brand is, yeah, still rocking that hard. My brand is whatever the hell I like. Mostly older games, right? I would say that's closest to being my brand, which is not saying much. Can I make a better hat? Oh, scout hats. Oh, warden helmet. Oh, yeah. Nah, I'm not gonna. I'm not using my dragon bone for this. Sorry. You stuck with the old hatties. And you know, that's a goal of mine. You know. And why not, right? Potions belt. So much, not crap per se, but okay. I'm not level 15, so let's give it to Solus, I suppose. Let's see what. Yeah, no, you're better than this. Okay, so you know, I make that. I can't do this here. It's a running joke basically of the blue vitriol and how it is bad. It's a mineral that is so badly named, but so well. I'm gonna kill ourselves a dragon. Where is the dragon at? Dragon is to the south, I think. Yeah, I think so. So we're gonna kill the dragon and close it. And I'm gonna make a magical item like that. An intelligent metal helm for one of my players in 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 my D&D campaign. Like, hey dummy, where you going? That's not the right way. You're wrong. You're wrong. I said you're wrong. It's gonna drive them crazy. I love it.
Inquisitor.
Yeah, I'm not a fashion over survival. It's like, oh, well, it looks pretty and you're pretty dead. It's like, I hate the pink armor in Mass Effect, in the original Mass Effect, because they give it to Ashley. It's like, she's supposed to be like the furthest thing away from a girly girl, but hey, we gotta identify her as female, so she has a white and pink armor. Like, well, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Yeah, I need to go to the Emporium. Okay, where do I go for the dragon? Yeah, I gotta go to the south, I think. Right? Ah, there it is. The rift. Go for the rift and you'll find the dragon on the way. As long as you don't force Solas to wear shoes, he'll be fine. He's an elf after all. I was talking about fashion, by the way, and I was complaining early on that the women in this game, some of them wear high heels, but I was pleasantly surprised to see that high heels in this game follow not male-female fashion, but rather it's noble fashion, mostly, in the sense of that nobility in Orlais actually wear high heels as well, men and women, which fits the fact that they're based on 17th century Britain and France, respectively. I'm gonna get killed. This one is a tough one. Because ouch. This is immune to lightning. I do like the abilities of the dragons. They make them different than just, lightning breath, a la Dungeons and Dragons, right? In fact, now that in Dungeons and Dragons you have what's the term? Lair actions. I would do some of these things. Keep those barriers up. So little damage. At least I learned you can dispel me. those legs. This one, I could probably lose. Sorry, chat, if I'm not paying a lot of attention. It's just I'm in the middle of a fight here. Oh, the spell ability is so good. I'm doing like scratch damage, basically. Gotta get closer though. But not too close. These are the real fights that are really tactical in this game. Like you gotta keep that eye on the ball, otherwise. She's halfway down. Gotta keep your eyes on the barriers. Okay, this is where the dispel comes in. Here we go. Grid magic. More than halfway done. Okay. Okay, I said there were 9 dragons last time. There are actually 10 dragons. And the toughest one, well, the 2 toughest ones are in Empress Dublion and because the toughest is the one in Empress Dublion because she basically has all the tricks on her guard. She has guard. She summons minions. She has area attacks. And the second one is in the desert, in the Dwarven ruins. Get out the way. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Ouch. I love how she uses her entire body to fight. It's also pretty cool. You can actually interrupt the dragon's attacks by attacking the head. It doesn't always work, but it can. Like the special attacks? Like this one. Regenerating soul. Okay, let's get these 2 barriers. Okay. Oh, she's about to die. That must have been a head hit. Someone must have hit her in the head and interrupted her attack. God is such a good ability on everything. There we go. There we go. Nearly done. Boom. Yeah.
Lots of bandits in these parts. Can't blame them, I suppose. It's hard making a living these days.
Oh, it's taking a long time to... Oh, it took a long time for her to die. Unique meteor armor, enhanced guard belt, super leg or glide drain, yeah. I'm getting that ring of light ring. That's for me, baby. And oh. Yeah, I can sell this guard belt BS. We'll give it a... And we didn't lose anybody. Now let's check out the ruins. We still have about halfway the cast to go. Yeah. There's a riff over there. Ferelden Wyvern statues. Wyvern statues found throughout Ferelden were inspired by legend, and Drastar tamed one of the venomous bits with her song. Note, I say legend and not the chant. But this is wild superstition. Let's claim this part right here. I think after this basically we're done with this, except we have to talk to certain someone. Okay, can't see where I'm going. Claim. And I need two more quarries. Oh yeah, treasure. Yeah. I never give Cole, which is the only one who uses blades, the dual spike blades for some reason. Don't know why. Yeah, that would be a bit silly, but yeah, I can see where you're going with that. So yeah, I'm gonna create that blue vitriol helmet. It's just too cool for school, I suppose. Okay, that was a bit of a glitch. No, actually, no. He used his chain. Again, this spell is a must for mage. Oh, you're using a barrier, huh? How about no? Yeah, Cassie's the best. Walking Bomb. Walking Bomb was such a powerful spell in I'm gonna max out this. Yeah. Which has a killer spell in Origins. It's like it was like a blood fireball. It was just like I remember that spell. Like, and the thing was that it was supposed to have AoE, but the AoE didn't really work. So it didn't really hurt your party members. I think it did minimal damage to party members, but it absolutely destroyed enemies. One of the things I like, and I like when games do this, which is one of the reasons why I think story should be used this way, is when you use story as framing, and the framing of the rifts changing the way magic works, or at least... Oh, Master Lightning Room. Nice. We're already getting Master Rooms. Like the Master Sword, but better. Yeah, blue vitriol helmet. I'm also thinking of also making I'm gonna put the first intelligent weapon, which is a weapon I used in other adventures I've done before. So what else do I have to do? I gotta meet Hawk's friend. Oh, there's a location I haven't discovered yet, so let's discover that. Well, not better than the Master Sword. Well, it depends on which version of Zelda, the Legend of Zelda you're playing. Sometimes the Master Sword is okay. Sometimes the Master Sword is OP. We were talking about King Cobbler earlier on, about wanting. I do want a capture card, but I don't want to. I think the reason I would get a capture card is I have an old console. Well, two reasons. I said this before in the cast. I want to be able to stream older games from console. I have an Xbox, an OC Xbox that I want to fix and I want to use. And there are a bunch of games that I would like to get for that game, like the Robotech games, like I mean, there are just a ton of cool games that came out. They were exclusives for the Xbox, or from that era that I would absolutely love. And in modern gaming, I just want to be able to stream Twitch games, like Breath of the Wild. I was tempted to buy a PS4 just for that, back when I had money to buy a PS4, which is not right now. But in fact, when I was thinking, like, oh, I'm gonna stream, I'm gonna need a PC to stream, right? And yes, you can stream directly from your PlayStation and Xbox One, but it's not really ideal, not for what I like to do, right? I know that a friend of mine, a friend of the program, and my fellow podcaster, Chapelmon, he streams from his PlayStation, but that's not my take. And also, I said when I was deciding how we're going to do, it's like, wait a minute, most of the games I can find in modern consoles are going to come out on the PC. Either they come out simultaneously, or like it's going to happen this Thursday. Monster Hunter is going to come out for the PC. I'm looking forward to it. So it's like, if I buy a PlayStation, there are a few exclusives that I may like Horizon Zero Dawn, that sort of thing. But it doesn't really justify the expense. I can't really justify the expense. Not yet. I'm not at the position where I can deduct expenses from, I get a tax write-off from That's why I have Status Cage. I couldn't justify the expense of having the PlayStation and the PC and everything else. If you already have it, great. But I'm actually, if my dream right now would be to turn the channel into a bit of a retro stream thing. And you can emulate a lot of that stuff, but I would like to get the original hardware, like Amiga hardware, like Atari ST hardware, like 1990s PCs. That sort of thing. But that is expensive. It didn't used to be that expensive, but now everybody's doing it, so... and I like the Twitch. No, I like the Twitch because I'm on Twitch. But I like the Switch. I like it a lot. What I'm seeing from the Switch has been hit after hit after hit. And I'm really digging it. So I'm thinking that might be the game to go. When I do, you'll probably see in the channel a lot of back games like, oh, and now 2 years later, 3 years later, I'm playing Breath of the Wild, or playing, Mario Rabbids game or something like that. But it would be worth it. What I really want is somebody to play with. Okay, time to meet Hawk. Time to meet with Hawk. Okay, party change. And you might be wondering why I'm not bringing Blackwall. I have my reasons. Oh yeah, Vivian, you need armor. Okay, you have armor. Varric. I think Varric can get better armor now. Yeah. Snazzy. Okay. Let me see if we get a better belt. Nope. I'm gonna give you one of those guard belts. Oh, he can't use it. It's for warriors only. Yeah. I don't play a lot of multiplayer games usually because I don't have a lot of friends that either play in platforms that I would play. Like I have one friend. He's big into Xbox. Like he adores the Xbox. He's a fanboy of the Xbox. But a lot of games are not multi-platform, and when he plays, I'm either streaming or doing something else. I was like, well, wish I could join you, but I can't. Well, I haven't done the spiders yet underneath the castle. Oh, well. Right, this is the wrong route. What's this? What's this? Oh. Okay, random creepy see no evil statues. A trail of stones. And massive bloodstains. Which seem to be still fresh. Isn't that lovely? Dragon Age, you do have a high... At times you do have a high creep factor. Like, oh, well, let's put something creepy here. Like what? I don't know, maybe, Oh. Well, somebody triggered the Gruffalo. Gruffalo. What are you doing here? Oh, they're not attacking. The wolves are not attacking. They're like, yeah, we seen you slaughter a lot of our friends, so we're not gonna attack you. It's still what, $300 still? I mean, it's selling like hotcakes. I don't expect it to have come down in price anytime soon. That's for damn sure. Okay, how do I get to that cave? Am I going in the right direction? No, I'm going in the wrong direction, I think.
I have a serious question for you, Iron Lady.
I can hardly wait.
In the Imperial Court, if someone uses the wrong fork at dinner, is that worse than death or just social suicide?
It's impossible to say, my dear. Anyone who has ever so misstepped was stabbed to death with the proper fork.
Look, Vivian, like, you know, not really, but you still cost your life. So it's both at the same time, I guess. That's the answer there. And the way she says it is so straightforward. It's like, yeah, she's kidding, right?
The Warden and Hawk should be inside that cave.
Yes, let's see Hawk, how useful Hawk is.
Glad you made it. I just got here myself. My contact with the Wardens should be at the back of the cave.
A group of Wardens were protecting a villager from corpses out near Crestwood.
They were likely hunting my friend. I'm glad they didn't come looking for people to help in here. They might well be good men, but they've been given bad orders.
Cozy little place. Weird armor effect, though.
It's just us. I brought the Inquisitor.
My name is Toud, and I'm at your service, Inquisitor.
Most of you Wardens disappear. Then I run into a Darkspawn Magister named Corypheus. Do you think that one might have something to do with the other?
I fear it is so. When my friend Hawk slew Corypheus, Weishaupt was happy to put the matter to rest. But an archdemon can survive wounds that seem fatal, and I feared Corypheus might possess the same power. My investigation uncovered clues, but no proof. Then, not long after, every warden in Orlais began to hear the calling.
Maker, why didn't you tell me?
It was a Grey Warden matter. I was bound by an oath of secrecy.
Is the calling some sort of Grey Warden ritual?
The calling tells a warden that the Blight will soon claim him. It starts with dreams. Then come whispers in his head. The Warden says his farewells and goes to the deep roads to meet his death in combat.
And every Grey Warden in Orlais is hearing that right now. They think they're dying.
Yes. Likely because of Corypheus. If the Wardens fall, who will stand against the next Blight? It is our greatest fear.
So Corypheus isn't controlling them. He's bluffing them with this calling. And they're falling for it.
Is the calling they're hearing real? Or is Corypheus mimicking it somehow?
I know not. Even as a senior Warden, I had heard only the vaguest whispers of Corypheus. The Wardens believe that this calling is real, and they will act accordingly. That is all we know for certain.
How can Corypheus make all these Wardens hear the calling?
I cannot say. We know little about him, save that he is dangerous. He is a Magister, as well as a Darkspawn, and speaks with the voice of the Blight. That lets him affect the minds of Wardens, since we are tied to the Blight ourselves. It must be how he created this false calling.
Okay, and let's talk about a little bit more about story as framing and story as guiding principle in video games. It was decided, and it was announced after Origins, that on the last DLC drop, that future protagonists of Dragon Age games were not going to be Wardens. The Great Wardens had their story for Elden, and that was going to be it. In Dragon Age 2, it makes sense because it's a completely different story in the city. You don't really talk about anything that has to do with the Wardens, except for a DLC, which is where Corypheus comes from, which... Anyway, but here in Inquisition, right, you would think that the whole thing with Corypheus would be a Grey Warden matter, right? I mean, it's a Darkspawn, they had him in a prison and all that. But you don't want to have another Grey Warden hero, right? So it's like, how do you do that? Well, essentially, this is a way of having the Wardens in the game, but without becoming the central focus of the game. And having the Inquisition and the Inquisitor being the central focus, right? You have Hawk here as well, but he's not the focus, you know. And I understand why they did it. The way they did it is very clever. So it is good writing. But the overall effect was like, you could have had any other Warden come in and do this, right? And I also suspect that because you can be a very heroic Warden,
does that include you?
In Origins?
Sadly, yes. It lurks like a wolf in the shadows around a campfire. The creature that makes this music has never known the love of the Maker, but at times, I almost understand it. We must uncover what Corypheus has done.
And that, I think, is...
This cannot stand.
So the Wardens are making some last desperate attack on the Darkspawn.
We are the only ones who can slay archdemons.
And I think that, you know, you could have had another Great Warden. Didn't have to be the Great Warden from the first game. Even some people said, well, what about my Great Warden? It's like, well, that whoever they are, they're either dead or gone somewhere else, right?
My own comrades turned on me.
And yes, I am spoiling stuff from Origins because it's Inquisition and it's gonna spoil stuff. So I apologize, chat.
It is an ancient Tevinter ritual tower. Meet me there, and we will find answers.
Let's go.
Power required. Regarding the calling, so many refuse to speak of it, but well, how can we know it? How can we identify it if we do not share it? The calling is not a source of shame. The song, okay, let's get the shrooms. And yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think could have been it. I think also if you had the Wardens, there's something happens here that allows for greater stories to happen later on. And I think that okay, I'm gonna go here because there's a final thing I can do here, and I think it would have been had that finality to it, right? Like, well, the Grey Wardens just kill archdemons or magisters. They would have killed Corypheus, and it would have felt like the end, right? And okay. I don't think that was meant to be a. That was that was a glitch. They didn't mean it to be that way, but that was a glitch. Anyway, and it would have felt like it had to be final, right? Because that's what the graders go, wardens go, and they do things, and they either die or they kill whatever it is they kill, and that's the end of that, right? And I think they wanted to open themselves to more adventures, right? And they didn't want to write themselves into a corner. And I'm talking about Corypheus for a little bit. There's also a problem. Well, depends how you see it, but I see it as something of a problem that the games of this era in BioWare certainly have, and that is the big bad guy problem. And I think also one of the reasons why Dragon Age 2 also feels kind of weak compared to the original, or Inquisition for that matter, is that they didn't have a big bad guy. And you can make a smaller game, but you gotta be careful when you sort of de-escalating, right? The tempo of the thing, because one of the things that BioWare decided when they were making Mass Effect and Dragon Age was that they were gonna have these uber bad guys, right? Bad guys so powerful, so overwhelming that it would allow for the kind of moral choices that were prevalent back in that era, right? Particularly with the Wardens, and it's in the name, Grey Wardens, and also with the Spectres, right? How do you create a situation, again, we're talking about framing here, narrative framing, that allows the character to make moral decisions that can always be justified one form or another, right? In the case of Mass Effect, of course, there's the Reapers, right? In the case of Dragon Age, in this game, in Origins, was the Blight, right? A enemy so powerful, so horrific, that it wasn't a matter of good and evil. It was a matter of survival. But you can still play a heroic warden, a very heroic warden, and you can still play a very heroic Spectre. I think in Mass Effect they embrace the idea of the Spectres being heroes, right? Basically with the Paragon and Renegade things, like, yes, you can be Renegade, and Renegades are essentially dicks. Let's be honest. But that's not the optimal way of doing things. But I think they wanted to keep that gray and gray morality of the Dragon Age world, and I think that especially if you play a very heroic Grey Warden, right, somebody who does the right thing or tries to do the right thing almost all the time, and succeeded, then it's like, oh, well, but the Grey Wardens have to be gray, right? They have to make the hard choices. Yeah, and which is true about Mass Effect if we're talking about, but still, it at the end of the day, Mass Effect, it really came off more like Paragon was good and Renegade was not evil, but just sort of self-serving, right? Impetuous, self-serving, I do whatever the hell I want, get out of my way kind of thing, which is diplomatic. And I think it's like, how do we sort of restore the wardens to the idea that they're gray and in the middle? And a lot of the stuff, and especially in this part, it's kind of pointing that direction. The Grey Wardens are always gray, right? And they can fail, and they can make mistakes, and even outside of blights, they do more harm than good, which I think I don't agree with. But that's the decision. That's that's what they went for, or with, I should say. Let me talk to Cassandra. Heyo.
I can keep staring at this, but I won't get any closer.
Something I can help you with?
Yes, possibly. We saw so many Red Templars at the assault on Haven. Perhaps all that was left of the Order. What we didn't see was Lord Seeker Lucius. Indeed, I've seen no hint of any Seekers amongst the Red Templars, or anywhere. I have a growing suspicion Corypheus has imprisoned them.
Finding them obviously means a lot to you.
I left the Order, but I can never abandon them. I cannot even claim that rescuing them would be beneficial. They wouldn't look kindly on the Inquisition. But even so, if there's a chance... If we can spare resources to follow up on these leads, Inquisitor, I would appreciate it.
Okay. Let's do that mission, because I want to advance Cassandra's romance. Or my romance with Cassandra, I should say. Duh. So... the herbs.
Inquisitor.
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 Okay. I should go and, well, I'll wait till level 15 or so to buy new equipment. Oh yeah, sorry. I need to also scout the western approach.
We cannot neglect our soldiers' training.
Can we neglect roads? Our allies cannot take the same route through the mountains we did.
Meanwhile,
Inquisitor?
we're always romancing Cassie. I mean, that's not even like a choice. Come on, Hector. No, it's not. It's not like no. It's not a choice. She's the best. I mean, other people would disagree, but they're wrong, and I'm fine with that. I really am. I have no problem with that. I'm okay. The world is full of fallible people. Most of them are not me, and most of them do not romance Cassie. So, what can I say? It's just the way it is. Sad but true. But right now we're gonna help. We're gonna do some filler stuff for Dorian. Almost. And for and what's her name? The Iron Bull. He needs a little more guard. Iron Bull. Oh, I know what I'm gonna be selling. Let's see what armor can I give him. Dispatch for you, sir.
Word for you.
Word for you.
Could prove useful, sir.
And also, killing Venatori might just give me some Venatori tomes that I need. Well, really, that's more in the Western approach. There's a dragon in the Western approach, and there's another dragon in further outfield. I like the fight in the Western approach is pretty cool, but getting there, it's you gotta do this sort of quest chain, which is a bit of pain in the ass. You'll see, probably tonight. We'll have about 50 minutes, so well, no, 45 minutes or so. So not today, but tonight. I haven't done the Ocularium, whatever they're called, and I won't because they never give. Those are a waste of time. Well, hello, dead people. Dorian greatly approves. Well, Dorian, your approval fills me with pride. Ah. What is this? Yeah, Renegade Shepard really comes out as being a dick. In Mass Effect 2, there were some consequences. Not some consequences per se, but is one-handed or two-handed? I don't know. You gotta sell stuff. But yeah, there was, it's like, I mean, there's a couple of interrupts. Like, there is the pushed the mercenary out of the window interrupt. I was like that one. Because it's like, yeah, these guys are just murderers, and you just, they get their comeuppance.
Nice work taking care of the bandits. Corporate Vale will want to hear the good news.
Yeah, I'm just finishing up little details here. But for the most part, it's like the one where you're in the club and the Asari is dancing. It's like, if you do the Paragon thing, it's like, yeah, you're being a gentleman. But if you're not, it's just like, oh, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? Yeah, you're kind of acting like, acting like a dick, really. And nobody likes when people like the dude that acts like a dick in a club. And stuff like that, right? Some of them are I wish if they remake the original Mass Effect, one of the things they have to do is include the Renegade Paragon interrupts. I would love. Ooh, wow. Oh, nice. That means I need one more. Hoo-wee. Got it. I think. Oh, it's the stairs. Okay. I think this is where the two. Yeah, I might find a complete set. Nice. I think the complete set is here. Hopefully. And it's one of the things I think I would say Dragon Age is better is that it never had that system to begin with. They never had Renegade. The Renegade interrupt system, and I think that's pretty cool. Okay, that was the book for. Oh yeah, there's another thing here. I'm just finishing up, cleaning up little details here and there. I mean, talk about the Renegade Paragon Renegade decision at the end of Mass Effect. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Oh, I'm gonna let the humans take over the take over the Citadel. Nothing really happens other than you get a new set of counselors, alien counselors, and you don't see them up to when you get to Mass Effect 3. Like, oh, okay. So that's what happened. Yippee-ki-yay. Mother truckers.
What do you need?
It's good to have commerce restored. I've many.
Fuck it, it's gray. I'm selling it. If it's gray, I'm selling it. Carrying all this crap with me. I hate it.
Good day to you.
See? What did I tell you? Thank you. You've done amazing work, Inquisitor. Thanks to you, these refugees are safe, with warm clothes, and food in their bellies. The Inquisition might be able to make use of them. If you had a mind to.
All I ask is that the refugees remember we were there when they needed us.
Take care, King Cobbler.
I know they'll be grateful for everything you've done. I'll go now and set things up with the refugees. But thank you again. These people are alive because of you. None of us will forget that.
Nice.
Nothing to report, sir.
Excuse me, have you seen another Inquisition scout? Elven woman, answers to Ritz.
I found Ritz and rescued her from an attack by the Templars. She's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time. It's dangerous out here for everyone. I'm glad the Inquisition is trying to put things right.
Oh yeah, I need to activate a thingy. Yeah, I think so. Well, here's the thing about RPGs and how RPGs have been, and this is something I think the morality systems of the era, particularly the 360 and PlayStation 3 era, were trying to fix. The idea that you always play the squeaky clean hero, right? Because in video games in the past, especially those that didn't have a lot of story, you were the hero. The enemies were the enemies. There wasn't any nuance, really, right? The bad guys were the bad guys. The good guys were the good guys. Full stop. Okay? As stories develop, it's like, oh, we can write better stories with some depth and put some nuance and stuff like that. Okay. You start seeing more nuance NPCs. But what about the player character? Right? And remember, the player character is the player's character. They're supposed to be in control to a degree or another, right? There's such a thing as player agency, and what I like to call the illusion of control. So what happened usually is that you create a moral system, and the original Fallout had one and all that tracks your moral decisions. The problem was that the way the quest system was created still, in many ways, was still created in the old mindset of you're the hero and you're expected to do heroic things. And what tends to happen is that in many cases you're punished.
Thank you for getting my mother the potion. I knew the light in the sky wasn't ready for her. If you see my mother or father again, tell them I hope they find the light in their own way.
You have the ears of the elven people, boy, but not the soul. You can feel the effects of the breach anywhere in the world. You can only help your family by going to them.
Perhaps you're right. Even if this world is just an illusion soon to be cast off, I should make my parents comfortable. I'll gather my things and go directly.
And because of that, what tends to happen, because another thing about video games is they're software programs, and computers still very much think in binary. So binary choices
That should help strengthen the veil.
are probably the easiest way to show what you're doing. Oh, money. There's money here. Gold. So you end up with a situation where you have binary choices, which is antithetical, yes, to nuance and subtlety, and on top of that, the premise that protagonists should be heroic. So you often get a moral system that in fact discourages, that goes contrary to the way the quest system is done. And again, we go back to the fact that you have one of the reasons why the villains of the piece in both Dragon Age Origins and in
What if this
wow,
is just
200
war
points.
magic? And we left our lives for nothing.
I'm looking for the final piece. Maker, where is it? Let me see if it's over here. In order to make sure that the choices that you make are always justified and you don't feel cheated. And I don't think it always works, right? Because the problem with having sort of an overwhelming enemy, sort of a survival of the fittest kind of situation, is that where do you go from there, right? Where do you escalate the conflict? We lived. Yeah. Where do you go? I mean, Reapers. Do you make something bigger than the Reapers? I don't think so. I mean, you can argue, oh yeah, we're making something more powerful than the Reapers, but would you? Should you? It makes no sense. And that's, I think, Andromeda has a bit of a problem. Essentially, the enemies of Andromeda, they're the Protheans. If you haven't played Andromeda, you can see it in the trailers. I'm not really spoiling anything. Essentially, they are the Protheans of another galaxy that act, well, they act like Reapers, but without the big honking death machines. And a lot of people found it to be kind of a weak enemy, and I didn't mind so much because I guess I understood the fact that in a way the BioWare writers sort of overplayed their hands in the 2-game series. Oh, Crystal Grace. Where the hell you think you're going? Crippled bastard. Okay, I'm not gonna waste more time in the hinterlands. Okay, maybe I'm gonna waste a little bit of time in the... Tear that flying to her lover. I want to find that last piece, the mural piece thing. Where is it? Where is it? I almost never get them. I'm not a completionist kind of guy. Same here. Yeah. More crystal grace. Yes. A beautiful flower. Whoever designed that flower did a good job. Great job. You. Designer, you. It's gotta be here somewhere. Maybe in a cave or something. Keep your eyes open for enemy fighters. I think this is the way. I'm hoping. Yeah, it's what I call, you know, facing the horde, right? Which is a trope, right? The idea, it's like orcs in D&D. It's like, yeah, they cannot be reasoned with. They cannot be managed. They're there to destroy or be destroyed. They're always chaotic evil. And in the case of and stuff like in Bioware games, it's, and even in KOTOR, I mean KOTOR, I think they actually did a fairly good job because they made it personal, and I don't want to spoil too much for KOTOR, but although I mean they had the right attitude, I think they didn't do a perfect job though. They could have done a better job because they compressed, once they do the reveal of the main character, they kind of compress the arc. Like it's revealed a tad too late, and you're never really given a chance to fully explore what it means. But had it been done earlier, I think you can say, oh, wait a minute, being light side and dark side is tied to who the real character is. And I know, yes, another old game, but hell, I'm not gonna play it on stream. It's one of those games that if I play it on stream, I would like to, I would like to cheat. I would do it with cheats because I play the game and I'm done. That's one of the things about this game, not so much because this game is not that hard, but games I played before. Oh, what is this? I think this is an exit of the map. Let me see. Yeah, this is an exit. I've been here before. I sort of like, when I tried playing Neverwinter Nights, I played it a little bit on stream earlier because the enhanced edition came out. It's like, yeah, I usually cheat at this game because I played it, I finished it. I just want to have, you know, simple, dumb fun. I don't want to have to actually trudge the game and actually lose or die. That's not fun for me anymore. I don't cheat in games, at least not in the first couple of runs. If I played it a dozen times, something like that, yeah, I'll go for the cheats and the console settings and all that. But otherwise, okay, I've been here before. Never mind. I'm probably not gonna find it. What is this? What are these things? Venatori kill with Dorian. You know, like a holiday. You go and kill the Venatori with Dorian. You don't kill them with Dorian, it's boring. I'll let boy have some fun. Okay, that was secret something other. Yeah, bears everywhere. But I don't have Cassandra. Cassandra's the bear killer. She kills them with her bare hands. And not that funny. Yikes. By the way, I've been thinking I do have to hire artists. At least hire them for a little bit. Because if I do make it to affiliate this year, and I'm hoping I will, I'm going to need someone to do the emotes. Because I cannot draw to save my life. Well, I'll have to find a guide and see where it is, because I'm not going to waste more time here. Okay. We did this, we did all that. Okay, let's go to the western approach. Yes, yes. He's my gay best friend. Really, you know, he plays that role here, like the gay best friend kind of thing. Would be romance if you want to do that. And I think one time I did go all the way to got the kiss scene. Bit of a mistake on my part. I'm sorry. I then broke his heart, which makes me feel horrible. It's like, but he's such a good guy. He means well. True, he's from an imperialist, colonialist background, but he actually doesn't see anything wrong with slavery, which it's icky, but he's such a good guy. I don't know. I'm thinking
welcome to the Western
stuff like
approach.
dice. I want to make like RPG based
but no
emotes, like dice, and maybe have like the logo, my channel logo. I want to make my channel logo the style of like Dungeons and Dragons, like the double D's. D&D will be L and L.
Delirious report
But,
of a high dragon flying overhead. In short, this might just be the worst place in the entire world. Be careful out there.
Are you worried about me?
Someone has to be. And try not to die. I don't want to deliver that report to Skyhold. We intercepted a Venatori messenger and, persuaded him to give up the orders he was carrying. We have them here. This entire place. It just feels like something's not right. Be careful.
Okay, Leah. I mean, Harding. It's an attempt to make it again, make it okay, we're gonna go with our classics. Or should we go with the classics? Let's go with Vivian. And as a rogue, Sarah? Nah. Barrack. Sarah, I don't know. Sarah is Sarah.
For you.
What is it?
What is it?
Prove useful, sir.
I think they're trying to explain the fact that he would think things differently, but it's like, and he's like, well, it's one of those things between it's what's called moral dissonance, in that when you're playing, especially a fantasy RPG, most fantasy RPGs are, even Japanese ones, are loosely based on Western European values of the Middle Ages, and so people back then, in theory, didn't think had the same moral background that we did, which is not entirely true. You know, people tend to assume that people didn't question these things or question slavery and things like that, which is not true at all. But one cannot simply graft a series of modern values to ancient people. But at the same time, it's a modern game written by modern people in the modern era and played by modern people in the modern era. that idea of okay. Just got the one, but that's fine. It shows that he's not perfect, that's for damn sure. I gotta say, I do like the design of the rifts in this game. They could have gone with anything, but they really went for something very elegant. Okay, Bull. I'm just gonna climb up here. You don't have to follow me. Okay? Okay. Like I said, you don't have to follow me. These are three stumps right here. You're a big boy, so you know. Because for example, it's very interesting. You would expect Bull to fall under the same premise, right? That he is from a from a very strict society whose values I think a lot of people today would not want, at least in Western Europe, I suppose, Western world would not necessarily share. And yet he comes out as being more liberal in many ways. Especially when it comes to sexuality. And anything else. And these in this games, the world Dragon Age is pretty liberal from a current point of view, but I think people tend to forget that the idea of particularly the idea of sexuality, is something that has always fluctuated over the centuries, right? Ideas of, sex work, prostitution, the role of women. To think that those are every single society across every part of human history has always thought in the same way it's just willfully ignorant. See, now you give Bull more guard and he becomes a real tank. Well, yes and no. I think, and the way it's written is very interesting. Because when you talk to Bull, and this is a bit of a spoiler for people who haven't seen this, if you keep talking to Bull, when he talks about Krem is a trans man. He basically says, "You're a man," right? He doesn't like, "Oh, people who are like me." It's like, "You're a man." That's it. That's all he needs to do. And then later on, he explains that what happens, which is very curious, is that work is, or positions in the Qun are very gendered. The work itself is gendered, right? Like being a warrior. What tends to happen is that while you're doing the work, you're considered a male. For example, if you're a warrior, you're considered a male. So someone who was, say, born female, not born female, but assigned female, and literally in the Qun they would be assigned female at birth, and then says, "No, I'm a warrior." The Qun would simply say, "Okay, you're a male," and that would be it. it's a bit of a sleight of hand, considering how Stannis talks about, especially to a female Grey Warden, right? Are you a man? Are you a woman? Kind of thing. That speech that he gives. But it doesn't completely erase it.
Who in the world would send anything out here?
I think so. It's supposed to build upon that rather than negate it completely. I would leave that entirely up to the audience to decide whether it actually works or not as intended. It probably won't work for everybody. Other people go like, yeah, no. You can't say one thing and then turn around and say the other. Which is what it feels like. And not being a trans person myself, a very cishet, signed male at birth and identify as such, and being heterosexual. My position of that is, I really don't know. I'm ignorant. I'm just ignorant, right? I know enough by the way most people know this stuff, which is listening to and to what other people say, particularly people who are trans, for example. And as a community, not individually, as a community, they would have, I think, the final say on the issue. I can only give you my position on it and let you decide. I think it works, but it's a bit weak, right? It's not as oh no, I didn't want to kill the Fennec. So it basically comes as a compromise from my part, and usually these things are kind of hard to compromise. So I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not scared of talking about the subject, of course, but I'm also someone who I think everybody, if they want to be intellectually honest, should always first and foremost acknowledge their blind spots. And that, I think, is a huge blind spot for me. That's something I should talk about. I've been thinking of making a VOD here on Twitch about gender and sexuality, and my take on it, just to make it clear. Again, I don't suffer any of the indignities that come with being misgendered and anything like that. But I'm thinking that, I think it's something that I could just do out of just making it clear, I suppose. Here's where I stand. That way, if the question ever comes up, I say, here's the VOD. Go check it out. And we're gonna leave it here. We started earlier, so I think we're gonna leave it about 13 minutes to the hour. We did start earlier, and well, actually, let me I need to make a change of personnel because I'm gonna need a rogue for that. Change party. And yeah, we're gonna leave it here. We're playing for about 3.5, 3/4 hours. And we'll be back around 8 o'clock this evening. Thank you, Hector. Thank you, King Cobbler, who was here. Thank you, everybody who followed. That was amazing. I was blown away. Thank you very much. I hope that I can be entertaining. I hope you like the what I'm doing. Looking forward to, of course, Monster Hunter on Thursday. Crossing my fingers that I can actually play it. You know, been promising. I've been doing that for a month or more. I could do that. So, thank you all for coming. And as always, I'll see you when I see you. Bye.